You're tuned in to Last Stop Waterfowl Outdoors podcast. Waterfowl hunting and conservation is our passion. We cover everything outdoors, from the blind to the banks. Come along with us as we hunt and fish our public land reserves and bayous throughout Sportsman's Paradise. Tune in for interesting interviews and takes from much of the industry's most intriguing outdoor companies, content creators, guides, and historians as we discuss various topics as they pertain to our pursuit of waterfowl and everything outdoors. This is Last Stop Waterfowl Outdoors. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now here's your host, Jacob Robery.
News first.
Hey, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Last Stop Waterfowl Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Robery, and guys, it is great to be back in the studio with y'all tonight. We've been on the road the last couple of episodes with first split of duck season kicking off here in Louisiana, but tonight I'm excited not only to be back home in the studio tonight, but I'm also joined tonight by several of my friends in the outdoor industry from right here in Louisiana. And this is a first for us, that the first time that we've had the opportunity to kind of all come together on one podcast. And tonight is going to be a treat for all of you listening and watching us. If you're watching us on your YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're catching the video format, or if you're listening to us on streaming through your favorite audio platform, then guys, welcome to the show. We are going to get right into it tonight, and we are going to be talking about recapping the first half of the Louisiana duck season here in Louisiana, kind of looking forward at what we can expect in the second split and getting some insight from across the state with our guests that we have with us tonight, guys. So without further ado, you guys could see them. You probably recognize, if you're watching us on the video format, you recognize a lot of these beautiful faces that we have on the episode tonight, guys. So I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, tell them your name and who you're with, guys, and then we're going to get started.
All right, y'all. I'm Joey, and I do YouTube, and it's called Cajun Girl Outdoors. You can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And I basically post all my hunting and fishing adventures. I'm from Southeast Louisiana, mostly around Terrebonne. Lafourche Parish is where I do all my hunting and fishing. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Nate Verdon, Falling Tide TV. You can search Falling Tide TV anywhere and find me.
Joe Spears of the Flyway Connections. Out here in Louisiana, we have a podcast called Flyway Connections where we hunt all over the U.S. and we just talk with other waterfowlers.
Roland Cortez here, Thibodaux, Louisiana, and I do On the Bayou Outdoors on YouTube.
Dale Bardlawn with Bayou Beast Calls over here in central Louisiana. And I'm known for making duck cane calls. Up to duck.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank y'all so much. I think really we don't need any kind of introduction. If you follow waterfowl hunting or anything outdoors in Louisiana, most people that are listening tonight are going to know y'all. But the reason that we wanted to come together tonight, we kind of have everybody from just all across the state of Louisiana. And we wanted to kind of come together as a group tonight. I wanted to have all of you on because we kind of touch in all the corners to talk about waterfowl season so far, man. And just kind of a roundtable discussion. Now we find ourselves, we're done with first split of the season, whether you're in the east or the west zone of the state. And now we are getting ready to head into the second split of the season already. Kind of hard to believe that we already at that point right now, but we are. So we're heading into it this coming weekend, and it is going to be an interesting season, to say the least. A lot of you guys have already had a stellar start to your season. And I kind of want to start, we'll keep it in the order where we introduce ourselves, but we'll kind of talk a little bit about how the season's going so far. So we can start with you, Joey, and kind of go on from there. And kind of, how's your season kicked off in the first split so far?
It's been pretty good. So I've done all my hunting at our lease in Bayou Black, which is in Terrebonne Parish. And it's pretty consistent with last year, maybe a little bit less. But so far for our lease, we've got about 130 birds, which is a number we're pretty happy with. A lot of blue-winged teal, mostly blue-wing. We have great hunts and we have slow hunts. It's kind of even, pretty consistent as usual. if we get the right tide, the right wind direction, we've been doing pretty good. Like I said, mostly blue wings. We're perfectly happy with. Not as many like gray ducks as I would like to hope. Where we're at, we're kind of we're in the freshwater, but we're pretty close to the salt marsh, and the teal have been loving it up, man. So we've been doing pretty good.
Good, good. Yeah, a lot of teal that I've seen in that area from where you guys are. So that whole Bayou Black, Bayou Black, Joey, that's normally been a region you get a lot of diver ducks, you get a lot of gadwall typically. So yeah, that we'll kind of go a little bit further into it in a second. But Nate, what about you? Nate, you cover. I always say the southeast region of the state, but you have some lease property as well. So talk about that a little bit and kind of how was your first split?
Yeah, we for the most part been hunting our lease in St. Bernard. It's been really good. Um, I'd say it's a bit above average, for the last 10 years or so. It's probably the better year that I've had probably in the last 10 years. Bunch of teal to start the year, and slowly but surely the gray ducks have been kind of making their way over to us. And yeah, it's been good. It's been good. I've been talking to some guys out in the southwestern side of the state, and it's been a little slow, been a little hit or miss over there. I think we're holding a little bit more of the gadwall than we usually do over the last 10 years at least. So it's been good. It's been good.
Well, good, good. Yeah. Speaking of Southwest Louisiana, Joe, you up next, and that's kind of an area that you are in, covering the southwest portion of Louisiana. And I know, although you said you didn't have the opportunity to hunt as much as you might have liked because the whole government shutdown and all that stuff with your job, talk a little bit about what you were seeing in Southwest Louisiana and kind of maybe let the listeners know what areas that you typically hunt.
So I hunt usually my lease is out there in Welsh, Louisiana. I lease some rice fields out there. And I'll hunt anywhere from Klondike, Jennings, Welsh, and then on the public land side, Lackasine and Hackberry, and a few lakes around my house. Yeah, you're right. This year, I just because life gets in the way, I've been able to hunt, but it's been a lot of little quick hunts before work. You know, down the rice has been slow for the ducks, but pretty well for the geese. We've been shooting snows and specks. But for the duck wise, doing most of my killing in the marsh and on bigger lakes or kind of like the cypress sloughs of lakes around here. And our ducks have mainly been gadwall, green and blue and teal, and my favorite wood ducks.
Awesome. Awesome. So you're seeing a little bit of gadwall, Nate's seeing a little bit of gadwall in the lower portions. Joey, you said yours is a little slow right now on gadwall, mainly teal that you see. And so kind of interesting there that you're not getting any gadwall as of yet. But okay, so we kind of see the coastal regions, kind of what's going on there so far. Off to a good start, it seems like. Roland, you up in the upper portions of the state, you in Northeast Louisiana. So fill us in on where you hunt for those of them who aren't maybe familiar with where you are and kind of what your report is, what you seeing.
Well, y'all, I'm hunting the town of Mangum, Richland Parish, mostly ags and flooded timber is pretty much what we hunt. We had a very good start, lots of green-winged teal, which is pretty much what we shoot a lot of. Shot some good bit of mileage this early this time of year. We've been holding a lot of ducks pretty much all season. So if I had to rate my first split between a 1 and 10, I'd give it an 8 because we had a couple of slow days where it wasn't that good, but overall it was a good start to the season. Speckle belly hunting, snow goose hunting has been a little slow. I don't know if it's been cloudy for like the last 10 days of the season, so the geese have been a little weary on us, but we still have a lot around. So I'm looking forward to the open of the second split.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear of there in North Louisiana too. And Mr. Dale, you are in the central part of the state. You're right in the heart of the state pretty much. Voiles Parish up in that area. How's it been going first split? It looked like online following you had a pretty good first split. Kind of fill us in on what you saw and what your experiences were.
It was a real good first split. A little bit more green wings than normal. A lot of big bunches of green wings. The gray ducks come in about the last 2 weeks, 10 days. We had a big influx of gray ducks. So I'm hunting at here, Spring Bar. I'm not far, Saline Lake, Honey Break, not far, Catahoula. So there's a good influx of ducks in the air a lot of times. So while we hunting in our area, I guess we got about half the water than a normal year. So these ducks is getting pounded everywhere they go. Same people call them and shoot them. They got real spooky to that last weekend or the last few days. I killed duck the whole first year. I got skunked the last day. I hunted my big blind, but them ducks are shot at blinds. Our blinds brushed good. It's a full man blind. It's stuck in the buttonwood, but it's still an object out. So from now on, we're not hunting big blinds. We're leaving all the decoys. That's one man blind away from the blind. That pulls through the whole season with a very little calling, very few decoys. That works for us.
Yeah.
Now, we got about 5 or 6 foot of water. It's all button. Those ducks are coming to us. We have some fields, but we don't hunt them no more because we kill no more ducks in them. I mean, not worth its while. We're killing all these ducks in the Buttonwood Lake. They're coming in there at day, and they're already done fed. Them ducks feed at night. So they coming to set up on us, just to get in them buttonwoods and in a cover, and that's why we're hunting these ducks. It's a good place, but it's been very good, very good. So,
Good. Yeah. And it sounds like what you were saying, Mr. Dale, and I witnessed a lot of the same stuff with us hunting on the public side of it in those areas. That those birds are very, very wary already. First split that were there. I actually witnessed a lot of these birds that were using the refuges that were around the actual public land areas that most of the pressure was coming from, and saw a good number of birds. And me and Joe, you and I kind of talked about that earlier this week when we were on the phone. We kind of saw some of the same things as far as the pressure causing those birds to kind of move in areas where they're not having any kind of pressure whatsoever. Now, Nate, I know you also mentioned, I saw in a couple of your videos, you were talking about how the birds were real blind shy. They were real weary already. Do you guys feel that it's early to see that? Or what's kind of playing into that a little bit? Is it just pressure? Because a lot of people have opinions on that. So I'm interested to know kind of y'all take on that.
I'll tell you what I think. I think whenever we don't have a weather system for a period of time, those birds just get into a pattern. It's really hard to break them from that pattern. And that's what I started to experience was on my lease in particular was they pretty much strictly started using landlocked ponds. So, they went from using pretty much the whole area, a little bit here, a little bit there, to fixating on landlocked ponds. And they did that like that.
Yeah, and for those that when they may not understand landlocked ponds because they're not marsh guys, what do you mean by that, Nate? When you say landlocked, like they were focusing on those little potholes that are off of big navigable waterways?
Yeah, so completely landlocked. No channel that going to the pond.
Gotcha.
Where there's just going to be no boat traffic. I think they just key in on those. They see that good hard border around the pond and they feel really secure, and they're using them. So when the second split opens up, I probably won't hunt anything that I don't have to drag to. If I can't drag to it, I'm not hunting it. At least when I'm hunting for gadwall.
Gotcha. And Roland, there's something I want to ask, make a point to ask you on this, because they had some, social media. We all on social media nowadays, obviously, and we know how many experts try to, get on our pages and everybody else's pages, and they all have ideas of why this and why that. But I had a guy the other day. He was talking about it. He says, "Man," he says, "it doesn't matter if you're on." He says, "What sets the private land apart from the public land?" He said. He says they're hunting the same birds in the state that we're hunting on public, or whether you're hunting on private. You guys, a lot of you, almost all of you on this episode, I think you all are on leases or some sort of private land. You all dabble in public as well, a little bit from time to time. But what's the biggest difference in the way that the birds kind of handle the private versus what you guys see when you hunt public? Is there a significant difference in your opinion?
You're on mute, Roland.
All the property that I hunt is all habitat managed for ducks. You know, my pit shoots about 1,200 to 1,300 birds a year, and yes, I hunt it every day. Yeah, the birds that I shoot are all flight ducks. I have to pretty much have to break the ducks that pass over me, which means a lot of duck calling, lots of decoys. You have to be able to blow a duck call most of the time to break these big flocks of high ducks. Now, I'm far enough. I have a sanctuary not far from me, but most of my ducks are flight ducks that come out of the north or northwest. So, you have to blow them. But all of our, we have 4 blinds on 6,000 acres, and we hunt them blinds every day. Some of them blinds shoot 15 to 1,800 ducks a year. I mean, so does pressure matter? Sure, pressure matters, but we also have a cut line to where we don't hunt past 11 o'clock, no matter if you're shooting them or not. And no disturbance. Once 11 o'clock comes, we do not step foot on the property. We try to
That's a great point.
We try to eliminate as much of the disturbance as possible.
Gotcha. And just, I want to kind of get all of y'all take on it, or at least a couple of people if you have ideas on that. But guys, something that's been kind of being brought up more and more on the public side is that some guys are saying, hey, we're to the point now with the pressure, as hard as it is on public here in Louisiana, we would maybe even like to see, access to be able to get off it and kind of end the hunting a little bit earlier than what it is already. Do you guys think that would make a difference on public ground here in the state?
I mean, sure. Yeah. I mean, you go ahead, Joe.
So I mean, what I could say is, here in Louisiana, me, Roland, and a lot of us, we all get to hunt outside the state as well, right? So, but here in Louisiana, when we get our what we consider fresh birds or new birds, a lot of people need to understand that those birds have already ran the gauntlet. By the time they get here, they're already educated. They understand blinds, they understand levies, they understand spreads. So, when we say, hey, we have fresh birds, and they're not necessarily they're new to us, but they've the smart ones have already they made it. The dumb ones have died. So they come here with a PhD of survival. But yeah, so what I've noticed, most of my birds that I killed on the duck side this year has been on public, and it's been on public that has had limited access, right? Like I've hunted a lot of the paddle in onlys, no motor zones only. And I've noticed birds there are easier to work. They're not as spooked. And it could be because I'm hunting a smaller silhouette. I'm hunting out, if I'm not hunting pit blinds, I'm usually kayak hunting. And it's, it could be a smaller silhouette, smaller spreads, and more kind of like how Nate said, more off in secluded areas.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it 100 times. I think on public land areas in Louisiana, we need to vastly expand the limited access areas. Mm-hmm. I don't think we have near enough limited access.
I agree.
Yeah. And you talked about paddling in, Joe, a second ago. Joey, Phil, kind of the Bayou Black area. What do you see there this year versus last year? Do you see a significant difference in this year first split versus last year, what you guys saw as far as, we could talk about drought this year because we all kind of were experiencing drought in a lot of areas across the state this year. I know that that's probably playing a factor into, whether it's better or whether it's worse this year. But Bayou Black kind of that's a different area there, So what are you seeing this year versus last year, Joey? A little bit. Is it about the same or what?
It's very much the same. I think we're very lucky because Bayou Black's a big area where we're pretty far out. Like we are like 20 something miles away from the launch. The guys closer more inland probably have a different story. But we're lucky because we have those teal and those gray ducks still going out to that salt marsh and everything. Um, the first couple weeks of the season, I will say we saw more widgeon than normal because, like last season, we hardly saw any. And we actually got to kill a few widgeon at the beginning of the season. But other than that, it's been pretty consistent and pretty good for our area.
Good. And Joe, something else you mentioned a second ago about paddling in that type of hunt. Nate and Mr. Dale, you two probably would be the best experts that I know as far as that when it comes to paddling in, keeping areas real quiet, kind of the old traditional way of doing things. Talk about that for somebody who's maybe getting into waterfowl hunting right now. A lot of new hunters are coming, to the sport, from what we see out there. Uh, Talk about how important that is and kind of your experiences when, you have the boat approach to it, going into a spot versus the traditional style, the paddling in, that type of stuff. Give us a little bit of insight on that because you two have a lot of experience in that area.
Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, it's just quieter. I mean, if you got an area that you're trying to preserve and hunt it for the season, you want to try to be as quiet as you possibly can in that area. You also see a lot more when you're paddling. You can take your time and you can notice the little things. You drive through a pond to get to your pond that you're trying to go hunt, and you may pass up this huge flat of feathers that might be on the water right there that you missed. That sort of thing. I just feel a little bit more personally connected to my hunting area when I'm paddling into it. It's quieter, and I just like it more. It betters the experience for me.
Yeah. They got a little lake over here called Lake Pearl. It's about 300 acres. And everyone that hunts there goes by pirogue. They don't have a boat. They all go to the bank. And that's how I was raised hunting. And I've always hunted that way. So the way we hunt now, all my boys got a pirogue. I got one. So we go with the boat to one spot. And like I said, we got those little one-man blinds, and then we go all separate ways in each boat. And never run that big boat. It stays. I don't even go in my duck hole. It stays way in the back, and we have a parking spot. Personally, I think it's a big, very big plus. Uh, that's how the old people used to hunt in South Louisiana. They had pirogue blinds, and they go with a big boat and just getting that pirogue. It's an old custom way of hunting. And that's how we hunt. And I really think it's a big advantage in killing ducks.
Yeah, and I also don't have to make a big blind. I mean, you guys that watch my channel know I rarely ever build a blind. I'm going in with a couple of bushes, my blind grass camo that I got, and I'm going in there and just trying to stay low profile, and that helps me for the most part. Sometimes I got to get creative and build a little blind, but most days I can get away with just being low.
Yeah. The opening day, me and my boy, well, I live he was the last to kill a big. We did that. I killed my limit the next weekend. So Sunday, like I told you, my boy, his one man killed 6, and my grandson, he killed 2. That's 300 yards from my blind. That just tells you right there what you have to do to kill ducks. You got to get away, get your we make little one-man blinds with no tops. Or I got a soccer top. That's a killer, man. And you can kill ducks all through the season when they have a few ducks. It works real good. So I would suggest, some people like to go in big blinds, cook, drink coffee, and shoot. I don't care for all that. I do that in the camp. I'm there to hunt. And I try to go as small as possible. That's how we killing ducks. That works better for us.
Yeah, definitely. And Joe and Roland, you two guys, y'all have a little bit of guiding experience. Roland, I know you've been doing it a long time. Joe, I'm not exactly sure how much experience you had. I think you did some guiding, if I'm not mistaken, too. I'd like to ask this, is with the pressure, and we see people on social media, they complaining about, the pressure that's out there nowadays. They're complaining about, hey, there's not ducks like there used to be, all this and that. How much do you think that is benefiting the guide service side of the industry? Or do you find that people are mentioning to you whenever they're, booking trips with you guys? Are they saying, "Hey, I'm trying to get away from that side of it, and I'd rather just book a couple of hunts a season to be able to go have a good experience, have maybe a little bit better opportunity to kill birds"? I'd like to get you guys insight from the guide perspective of it.
You want to go first, Roland?
I'll let you go.
So as a double-edged sword, or there's two sides of that coin. Right? I've been guiding for the last 5 years in part-time here in Louisiana, then in Arkansas. A lot of my guiding is for me speckle belly. That's kind of like my niche. But even on the duck side, there's two kind of twofold to that. When it comes to like pressure, there's some guide services that, like Roland said, that have sanctuaries and do only morning hunts, only hunt fields, so often. And yes, they're gonna have better hunts, right? Especially when you have certain guide services. I mean, I'm gonna give a plug right now for here in Louisiana, Spoonbill Adventures, a guide service. That's a real good guide service for here in the Welsh area, which I like. I've guided part-time for them, is they have multiple blinds, multiple areas where they can manage pressure on their, on their pits, right? They're not beating up one pit day in and day out. And then, they're spread across multiple areas from Jennings to Elton to, Thornwell and all that. So on that, yes, you're going to see less pressure on certain areas, and you're going to you're going to notice the birds a lot. Especially when people talk about them going nocturnal and stuff, you're going to notice, real early morning shoots and that, and the birds being a little more comfortable only getting shot at, a few times a week in those areas. Now on the flip side of that, where I hunt out of state up north, where I got at, they have certain areas where it's a little bit bigger guide service, and they have sanctuaries. I have noticed when you have set sanctuaries and you kind of limit the pressure on those blinds, that, no hunting past 10 o'clock or whatever with a sanctuary next to there. Yes, those blinds, like Roland said, you can hunt every day in and day out, as long as you kind of watch your pressure and how hard you're hitting those blinds, and you're not disturbing those ducks coming on coming on and off the sanctuary, because a lot of times they're not using those fields as roosting or loafing spots. They're transition fields, going from one spot to another. How kind of Roland said earlier, with you're calling out them, you're breaking them down, you're using bigger spreads, you're kind of getting them off of their path to give you a look, get them into you get them in, you shoot where you shoot, and then they go off to wherever, from point A to point B.
Gotcha. It's good insight right there. Roland, what's your take on that? What do you see? Do you have clients that, like I kind of asked, you see that are booking trips? And I know your clientele is probably a little bit different, but what are you seeing as far as clientele coming in? Is it guys that are trying to kind of get away from pressure, or, is it more corporate stuff? I'm sure it's more corporate maybe in your world, but kind of talk about that and what your take is on that.
Yeah, I mean, most of our clientele are corporate. So we run anywhere from 4 to 6 hunters per pit. We have 32-foot concealed comfort pits, nice, comfortable pits. We don't hunt a lot of guys. We have 2 guys in the blind and anywhere from 4 to 6 hunters. But going back to what Joe said, I don't have to worry about shooting ducks one day. I have to worry about shooting ducks 60 days. So I have to manage my ducks, all year. So I try to limit any type of pressure I have, going in. Like if I have to rebrush a blind, redo decoy, I try to do it while I'm out there. That way I don't have to come back and disturb. And it's not to disturb my pit, it's to disturb that sanctuary. Anytime anything passes by the sanctuary, I'm jumping ducks, I'm scaring ducks. And the later in the year it gets, these ducks get weary. Like I said earlier, it's about hunting flight ducks, but also later in the year, these ducks get a little weary. They get a little weary of these bigger spreads. So I have to change my tactics as far as mojo, movement in the water, calling. I have to do a lot more. Once I break my ducks, I have to soft call them, as Dale would say. I have to catch them on them corners. Why? Because I pretty much hunt the same birds all year. We have 2 sanctuaries on this property that hold anywhere from 10 to 20, 30, 40,000 ducks. And it's pretty much the same ducks we hunt all year, unless we have a polar vortex that pushes a lot more ducks out the north. But our main focus here is managing our ducks, not pressuring, because we hunt the same blinds every day. I'd love to hunt this property and get out of the blind and go hunt different spots in there, because you go in there with one person, man, I can shoot a limit of mallards every day on this piece of property. But being that we have certain spots to hunt, we can't hunt the sanctuaries. We have a lot more spots for ducks to rest than we have to hunt. And that's how we manage our ducks here. And it's usually works real good for us. Not every blind may not shoot 40 ducks, but maybe 2 out of 4 blinds will shoot 40 ducks. The other 2 blinds will shoot 20 ducks. It just depends how the wind, east wind, west wind, north wind, depends how the ducks leave the sanctuary every morning. But pressure is a big part for us.
Yeah. Pressure, more and more people, you hear that word pressure. We all kind of talked about it tonight. Pressure. That makes a difference whether we're on private, whether we're on public, definitely. Let me ask y'all this. It used to be weather. We used to hear weather a lot. Mr. Dale, you could talk a little bit about this too, and I'd like to get, Nate, your opinion on it as well. Or actually, all of you, if you have an opinion on it. But weather, how much does weather affect the migration here in Louisiana nowadays as compared to what we used to see? Maybe start out with you, Mr. Dale, since you may be the eldest of the group,
It is all you, and we used to get a big south wind prior to the front day. That's the kill your duck. South wind, the next day was an Arctic blast. That's not the day, just before the big push would kill ducks. So right now, in this time of day, we don't kill. And when the front, you got 2, 3 or 4 high pressure. Like now, yesterday, switch 3 days out. When it goes south, it's like the opening day. That's when we all out the big. When concrete is sweat, just hearing your talk. Where every one place, I know it's all different. Where Roland, all of y'all, that front pushes those ducks out, just like those doves. We do. So we kind of look for those days to really hunt those out.
Those warmer days.
Yeah, last second up. It was a high pressure those which second well, and they good. They work out with.
Gotcha.
So it was always good up from out with go, but the big front, there's not a lot of flyway. It's just so. So yes, everyone, I'm saying you got to adapt to what works for you.
Gotcha.
But man, by all means.
South wind. Nate, what about you? Well, I'm interested to get your take on that as well. What as far as weather now, what do we see in Louisiana? Because look, a lot of people say, well, the marshes are different than the timber. They're different than the rice. And we all kind of here have experience in certain areas a little bit more than others. So I'd like to really get all of y'all opinion on weather, how it affects a cold front. Is it better in your specific areas? Or is it more of a, like Mr. Dale, it's more of a south wind day? And also, if you don't mind, touch on this sun versus clouds, because I get that question quite a bit. Guys talking about, well, I've been told that a sunny day in the timber is always better. A cloudy day in the marsh is always better. Give us y'all opinion on that as well. So Nate, if you could go next, I'd like to get your take.
Yeah, I think early in the year, I find that weather has a big factor. on the hunting. For us, where we hunt at, we're in close proximity to very large bodies of water and food sources on big water sources. And wind is like our big thing. So when we get a hard wind, it brings the birds into the marsh where we hunt at. Preferably, wind that's coming out of the east. If it has an E in it, we always say if it has an E in it, then we know we're going to probably kill some big birds on those days. So we generally speaking, we get that big push in the beginning of the year. And then most of our, like Roland said, most of our birds are the same birds that we're going to hunt all year. They just move back and forth from the big water to the marshes, from the big water to the marshes, depending on the weather. So, that's kind of what we deal with where we hunt at.
You say
Gotcha.
big wind, Nate. You mean south winds or north winds?
South, southeast, definitely not a north wind. For some reason, those hard north winds, unless it's early in the year, they don't really do a whole lot for us, to be honest.
Yeah. What about sunny days versus cloudy days, Nate? What's your opinion on that in the marshes?
See, for me, I find that on the sunny days, the birds tend to fly a little bit higher over the marsh.
A higher
I don't know
ceiling.
Yeah, they just have a higher ceiling. It's like the clouds kind of brings them down a little bit. The way that I hunt real low profile like that, if I can get gadwalls particularly to come in at a lower trajectory, they have a much higher chance at decoying, I find. Teal fly kind of the same level for the most part, no matter the day. But it really affects those gadwall, I find.
Gotcha. Joe, what about you? Down in Southwest Louisiana, you in the rice, you in the coastal marshes as well. What do you think on that?
Yeah, so for me, it kind of depends on where I'm hunting. If I'm definitely hunting in, we'll say up in the lakes that I hunt with, and I keep saying the lakes, it's a small lake. I really don't want to tell a lot of people where I'm at.
No, don't mention specific names.
Yeah, but when I'm hunting that area, it's kind of north of I-10. So for me, that area, if I'm hunting sunny, I want sunny, windy. From on the big lake where I'm hunting, it really doesn't matter if it's south wind, north wind, more the wind. I'm hunting the backwater and the sloughs and the well, for Louisiana we call it timber, but it's kind of is like the cypress sloughs. Sunny, windy weather, north, south. I don't care where it is. I just want those ducks to come off the lake and come to me in the backwater. Now what I've noticed in the rice and even in the marsh, I like a little bit of rain, a little for the ducks. Geese, I want it. I don't care where I'm hunting for the geese. I want it sunny, and a heavy wind.
Gotcha.
And a really a heavy southeast wind for where I'm hunting my geese at. But hunting my lease in Welsh or even down in the Lacassine Hackberry where I hunt in the refuge, I want for the rice, I want a good south wind with a little bit of rain. Not hard rain, but just enough rain to keep the birds moving, keep it drizzly, and want them to find bigger groups and get out of the wind and get into some of those rice fields where you have the levees to break wind off of them so they can sit. And then same thing with the marsh. The marsh sometimes in the Lacassine area, a good north wind I've killed a lot of ducks at with north winds and a little bit, like I said, rain. I want a little bit of just drizzly rain just to keep those birds moving around.
Gotcha.
With the pintails, I've found in the marsh a north wind in the south marsh with a little bit of rain. The pintails, I usually notice they work and decoy a lot better.
Awesome. Yeah. So it seems like it's kind of a mix in your area where you are. You'll take a little bit of sun, a little bit of cloud. You like rain, which gets them up and gets them moving. So that's good advice right there. Something to look for. Joey, what about you down in Bayou Black? So cloudy versus sunny? Is it similar to what Nate's saying a little bit, or what do you see? Because it's a different area.
All right, for our lease, we always say it's all about the weather because we don't have a whole ton of grass. We don't have a whole ton of feed. We don't hold a lot of ducks. We're hoping on that wind, rainy weather to get them bouncing around in the marsh. Like this last Saturday of the first split, we had windy, rainy, overcast, and we had teal flying all morning. We had 6 hunters out. Everybody got a limit because there was just teal everywhere. We stayed till like 11:30 and they were still bouncing around. So majority of our good hunts, it's gonna be those cloudy, windy, nasty weather days for us. That's when we do the best. South wind is preferred for sure.
Awesome. And Roland, what's your thoughts on it as far as north, where you are, North Louisiana? Sunny, better in y'all area, cloudy days. What type of wind? What are we looking for the optimal conditions?
Remember, sun is your friend. When the sun's out, things will die. You know, ducks work so much better on a sunny day, man. They respond to a call. You got sun, you got shadows. And I rely on that sun every day to fool these little feathered things we shoot at. Because when that sun's not out, man, they can see so well. And I've had good hunts on cloudy days, and I've had awesome hunts on sunny days. But I prefer the sun, man, because it's my friend. I can hide better. I can call more at ducks when it's real sunny. And I'm sure everybody knows I love to blow a call.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when that sun's out, I can hit them hard, man. And I love it. You give me a south wind, 5 to 10, sun's out. I mean, I could stack them 10 folds like that, but I just love sunshine. And going back to weather, I like it to get cold early before the solstice for sure. Because I don't think we get ducks out of the north after the solstice. I think the ducks we do kill, if we get any ducks, are ducks that move around the area. Some may come from Catahoula, some may come from different areas, but I just think if it gets real cold early, before the solstice, before Christmas, I just think, you know, we'll kill more ducks like that. Once that cold comes after, I just think we're shooting ducks that are moved around from the weather.
Okay, so go ahead, Nate. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, I know as far as a late migration goes, the best late migration that we get is blue wings coming from the south in January on a
Talk
hot day.
about big time.
You
Even
talk
up-
about
even up here.
good. You talk about some good hunting late January. If you get a hot day, oh my gosh, the blue wings get thick like it's teal season again.
It does.
That's right.
That's a fair point to make there. That's Mr. Dale, in your area, do you see those blue wings pushing back up to central Louisiana?
Back in the 70s and 80s, you hardly ever killed a blue wing in big duck season. And it's getting more and more. We get a lot of blue. We kill them every time we go to split. We're gonna kill some this second split. We kill them here. Looks like, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the ones that goes in my free time.
That's your favorite ones, huh?
You know,
I hear that.
and to get
Hey, let me ask you this, because I had somebody that they messaged me and they wanted me to ask y'all about hunting late versus early morning. Or like, okay, so as duck hunters, we all go out there pretty much early morning, but certain areas, some people you'll hear that old myth. They say, "Well, I don't leave till late, and I go out and I hunt." And they're talking about mainly hunting big ducks, puddle ducks, mallards, pintail, gadwall, stuff like that. Is that something that you guys have ever done, or that you find makes a difference? And Mr. Dale, you in the timber, so you might have a little bit different take on that than some of the other people with us tonight. But I'm just, that's a question they asked me to ask, and I wanted to ask it. Is that something that you guys see makes a difference?
yeah, yes. Hunted my Cypress stump, and my boy hunted his one man blind. Just for an example, we finished at 11:50. They had ducks moving 10, 11 o'clock. We don't usually hunt past noon, but we'll stay till noon if we didn't kill. I love being out there, to be honest with you. And my boy likes it, so sometimes we lay 'em out for 7:30, 8 o'clock. But if we don't, we always kill ducks up and that's out.
And you think, Mr. Delta, that's birds that are just coming, like you said a while ago, you're in an area where they're looking to get away from pressure. They're looking to they've already fed, maybe they fed in the fields, the ag fields, that type of stuff. They're coming in there just to rest.
Catahoula leaving and Saline and Lark. I think it's birds that just get spooked up. but they work when they get they we don't call too much, and we don't always get them in, but I love hunting up late. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Nate said, "To hell with that! I get my limit, I'm out of there. I'm gone." I can see
No,
him
dude,
laughing. He's
that's
laughing.
no, I'm not. I'm laughing because I get it. So the salt marsh in particular, you get a lot of birds going in there to loaf late morning. They go to the more fresh marshes a lot of times, ag fields, that sort of thing, and get that done, whether it be at night or whether it be early in the morning. And man, ain't nothing decoys better than a fat, happy gray duck flying over the salt marsh.
Talk about
So
no doubt.
yeah.
No doubt about it. Yeah. What anybody else has an opinion on that? Hunting late versus early. Do any of y'all hunt the afternoons?
Yes. Yes. January in the rice,
Yeah.
I'll hunt the afternoons. We all talked about on some of the ag fields that birds go nocturnal and they feed later or they'll feed in the night. I've had, especially in January time, I've had at least an Elton that I've hunted from the Kinder Elter Pine Island area that I've hunted for years. That late December, January, when the birds start because of pressure go nocturnal, that I get big flights in the evening, coming in that last hour of a shooting light. And I noticed that a lot when I was hunting the mornings. I'd get there and I'd hear these birds, and they'd already be in my fields. Well, that's because I was feeding there all night, and then I'd watch them pick up 30 minutes before shoot light, hit cattle fields, well, where there's no water at, because they know that at that point there's no hunters, and head straight down to the Lacassine pools. So I kind of like, all right, let's go hunt the last 2 hours of the day. And, we shot, mallards, bigger ducks that time of the year, especially with a good south wind, them trying to go into the rice fields and feed at night. And there's been other times where I would go and hunt my lease in the morning, shoot a couple teal in the morning, or wood duck or whatever, and then hit the refuge at 10 and hunt that last 3 hours before you have to get off, and shoot some, a couple gadwall, pintail, an occasional mallard, later in the day when everyone else is pulling off, pressure's coming off, birds are starting to, leave the rice moor, go into those refuges to feed, hunting the last 3-4 hours of it, you'd be able to kill, 2, 3, 4, 5 big ducks to finish your limit off.
Gotcha. Yeah, they have some people that I talk to. They say, "Hey, we're having better success in the afternoons if they have that opportunity to hunt, Joe, than they actually have it in the morning right now." And they think those birds are moving around, transitioning, coming out of different areas, and they just if you there in the afternoon, you have that opportunity. I've talked to several guys in the first split, and they told me they said their afternoons were literally better than the morning hunts. So that's interesting. That's something to think about if you're a guy who's maybe listening, who has an opportunity to be able to hunt those afternoons. It may be something that you want to look at if you're not having a ton of success. So that is interesting. Another thing that I kind of want to talk a little bit about here is decoys, because that is a big question. And this is something I've seen online lately, and I don't know if you guys have seen it too, but talking about, we're in the world of motion decoys nowadays, and some of you don't use any kind of motion decoys, because I've seen your spreads, from what we see in the videos, and some of you may use a little bit of motion, but we all know what a mojo is. We all know that, the spinning wing decoys. And one of the questions that I had from somebody to ask you guys is your take on mojos nowadays in 2025. What do you guys think of spinning wing decoys? Is it still beneficial to use them, or is it not? So I'd like to get all your takes on that and see.
So for me, if I was in a place where we had a lot of mallards, I would probably use spinners until the mallards told me they didn't want it, and I would use it every day. I mean, if they liked it, I would use it. But being that we're shooting mostly gadwall, I find gadwall don't particularly like them too much, at least not where I hunt at. I think ripplers and those sort of things work really well. But I really like I really like hunting with any motion decoy that I could turn off in the moment, where I ain't got to walk out there and turn it off. And so, like we're getting to the time of year where I'll start using a jerk rig from time to time. So when second split gets here, I'll be using a jerk rig on the calm days, but that's going to be about it as far as motion decoys go, because I can't turn off a butt rippler, and I like to have the opportunity to turn them off if it's not working for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. And I lost y'all on the screen. I'm sorry about that. Y'all still with us. So who wants to go next? I'm gonna get you back.
I'll go next. I love spinning wings. I'm a duck nerd. You know, I think we live in a really cool day and age in 2025 where I get to watch videos and drone footage of just ducks. And the things that I've noticed is motion is just kind of like a duck call. There's certain times you use it. There's certain noises you make at certain times. If you ever look at any drone footage of ducks, you'll always see them popping their wings, and they're never still. So for me, like we'll go with teal season. I'm running 10-foot extensions on teal season. I want them as high up as I can get them to be as visual. For me, like I said, I use a spinning wing like a duck call, or all my motion like a duck call. When they're far away, I want that big flash, that big spinning. It's kind of like think of to me, it's like your high ball. You're trying a cut down, trying to bring them down. Once they get in, they start working. I have my rippers, I have my splashers, and the decoys that are squirting water, and I have all my motions always on a remote. I'm cutting them off. I'm cutting my spinning wings off when the ducks are in tight, 30 yards, 40 yards out to the last 60 yards of them working. Later in the season, as it goes, my mojos and my spinning wings get lowered to the water. I'm not running them on the big pools. I almost have them where the butt of them is touching water, because like if you guys ever see, birds are always, they're always popping their wings in the water, giving that little flash. So, more in the season when they get more educated to calling decoy spreads, I spread my spinning wings out. I'm putting them lower to the water. I'm running them on remotes. Maybe I'm running intermediate, or I'll have them full on until I get them in working. Then I'll put them on intermediate, or I'll cut them off once I get them where I want them. And I have usually my main jerk cord, or a swimmer, or a splasher, or a shaker in my kill hole where I'm trying to kind of funnel them in. But like Nate said, I'm going to let the ducks tell me what they're going to tell me every day, what they want and what they don't want. And I'm going to adapt to, just like my calling, my motion adapts to what that duck wants that day, or even in between each group could be completely different.
Got you. That's good. That's great advice right there. That makes a lot of sense, Joe. What about you, Roland? What's your take on spinners on the property where you guys are? Do y'all use them? Do you not use them? What's your take on that?
So I'm old school, brother. No batteries needed. I prefer to use a pull cord, man. I'm not real big on flash, mojos and stuff. But being we're a commercial, operation, we have to use some type of mojo because customers want to see it. But I try not to, but we do, and I put mine on the intermediate. I usually run. When I run them, I run anywhere from 5 to 10. It seems the more the better. If I do run them, one doesn't work. It seems like the more you run, the better they work. But they're all on intermediate, so they all come on at different times. But I'd much rather not use no batteries if I could.
Okay, simple. Joey, what about you?
Yeah, we use mojos pretty much, but just like Joe said, end of the season, put it low or don't even use it at all. We're mostly targeting those teal, so for most of the time, it works for us. We don't really use any other motion decoys.
Yeah.
Do y'all
well, I was about to ask you that. Do y'all feel that it's more teal that respond to the spinning wing steel? Because I think that, Nate, too. I think that it's look. I'll tell y'all a story. Opening weekend, we were on public, obviously, and we did not have a spinning wing decoy with us. I had pulsators, I had some ripplers out, and I thought I was doing well by going without spinning wing decoys. Jackson, my oldest one, he hates in his mind, he hates spinning wing decoys. We had some guys that were tucked in the back of a pocket off of a main body of water we were hunting. And when I tell you they were coming through, we were in the right spot where we were set up. The problem was we didn't have a spinning wing decoy, and they had about 4 of them that were 10 feet up in the air on a pole. And those, we had a lot of green wing teal opening weekend. Those green wing teal would come, they passed right in front of us, not even look at the spread, go straight to those decoys in the back, and they were funneling straight into the blind. And I looked at him, I said, they work. They just work at certain times better than other times. And I know teal like they do, and the next weekend, guess what I had? Spinning wing decoys in the spread just to make sure. But Mr. Dale, what's your thoughts? I mean, I have an idea what you're going to tell me, but what's your thoughts on that?
My boys, but I don't. My boy does. Days at work that, but I got.
I love it.
Decoys. I got a boat on one, and the other one's got an arm. And being round bottom, just kind of splash way far away. But different bullet boat going up round bottom, you can pull it real for those weird stuff. I'm tell you.
It kind of rolls over on that round bottom.
Pull it. I won't even call if I don't have to. And that it's tremendous. Just all motion in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm old school like Roland. That's like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, they also had the second part of that question somebody asked was, okay, motion, that's one thing. Early in the season, he said, do you find that in y'all particular areas that larger spreads are better early in the season, or do you guys go with a smaller spread in your areas? He was asking kind of the size of the spreads. So we all in different areas of the state. We all hunt in different areas. What do you guys feel as far as the size of the spread? Like just how many dozen decoys first split do you typically roll with, or do you kind of mix and match it each hunt?
I think in the beginning of the year, I want as many decoys as I could fit in the beginning of the year. I find that works really well for us. I don't know if it's because they just haven't seen a lot of decoy spreads yet, but we do really well with big spreads early. And as the season goes on, we tend to just condense it down smaller and smaller and smaller, especially this time of year. We're about to start the second split. If I'm hunting gadwall, I'm going to be running about 6 to 8 decoys at the most. And I'll have them all paired up.
In a marsh pond. Okay. So
in a marsh pond,
you pairing them up. That's good advice right there. So obviously later in the year, these ducks are starting to pair up. They're kind of getting ready to make that migration back up, and you're going to notice that you have hens and you have drakes together, So you make a point, Nate, you saying to pair them up. You make sure that you have a hen and a drake together.
Yeah, I space them out a lot. I make it look super inviting, and just pair them up. And when I say pair them up, I don't mean right next to each other. I'll give them a few feet, but I'm 2 over here, 2 over there, 2 over there, and then just get hidden.
Interesting.
Contrast kills.
Yeah.
What's that, Joe?
Contrast kills.
Contrast kills. It's a good point.
For me, and I'm kind of like Nate, where I'm gonna hunt different in the rice. My decoy spread in the rice is different when I'm doing the marsh or even in the
timber holes.
Yeah. But on all of them, contrast kills. I want dark and light next to each other. I want something that really pops out. In my rice fields, I'm running big spreads. I'm running probably at the least in my rice ponds, front and back together, about 120, 200 to up to 200 duck and goose decoys.
You're mixing it.
And mixing them, and I'm putting a lot. I think guys and gals put too many mallard decoys or too many just brown ducks. I really like a pintail uh, a magnum sized pintail decoy. Like I use a lot of G&H, and I use a lot of spoonbill pintail. Spoonbill decoys. I like a lot of that white. And even on some of my hen mallards, I'm painting them all black except that blue patch. I want just that contrast where I could, for me, when I see ducks at 2, 3, 400 yards, I don't see every color, but I see the whites and the darks really, really pop out. So I like bigger spreads with a lot of different contrasts of the colors, and different sizes, magnum to standard size decoys. When I'm hunting the marsh, I'm using about 2 dozen decoys. And then, when I'm hunting in my little timber holes, my cypress sloughs, I'll use anywhere from 6 to a dozen to 18. Kind of depends on how big of the hole I am. But no matter what, I want colors and contrast that really pops out and stands out to the birds. They can see it from a far distance, and it looks different than everyone else's spread.
Gotcha. That's great. That's great advice there. Joey, what about you down in Bayou Black? Y'all typically running how many? Y'all can hear that feedback? Okay. Not sure what it is. But anyway, size of the spread, Joey, like first split versus second split. We obviously getting ready to head into second split. What were you running typically first split versus what you're going to be doing? Does it change at all?
Yeah, we keep it the same, really. It really depends on like the blind. So we have a big blind that's in our more open water. We're doing 5 to 6 dozen decoys all around that blind to get them to attract those big ducks, especially. But like a lot of times I'll go hunt solo in a little hole. I'm just doing 2 dozen decoys. Most of the time, just the decoys, not even a mojo, and that usually works pretty good. So it really depends on which blind we're hunting.
Gotcha. Okay. Mr. Dale, Roland?
I hunt, massive agricultural fields, so I run 60 dozen by my pit. 80%
60
pintails,
dozen?
60 dozen, 80% pintails, and the rest of a mix of mallards, gadwalls, widgeons, and spoonbills. Being that we hunt traffic ducks, hopefully we're seeing, new ducks every day, so I leave 60 dozen out from day 1 to day 60. I mean, some days you can kill them a bunch, some days you may not, but we just hoping to hunt traffic, hoping to get new birds every day, and it's a lot of decoys, brother. They're right on the levee too.
Got you.
It's a big, massive spread of plastic floating.
Yep, it sounds like it.
I'd love to have 60 dozen wooden decoys because they'd be in trouble.
Mr. Dale can maybe hook you up with that. He just has to get working on it.
Yeah, you better start now because 60 dozen would be a lot for him to call.
Look at here.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's a big spooner. Yeah.
Talk about contrast. There you go, right there. There's your contrast.
We use about the most ducks we've killed one year was over 25 deep.
25.
I've got 60 right now. A bar wants to put. I'm against all, but from now on, we go this weekend. I'm hunting with last day. It'll be my cypress decoy. So I got 3 spoonbills, 2 great ducks, 2 mallards, and the rest teals. Whatever it is, whatever I'm saying. 10 of them. And we got a lot of spoonbills, a lot of pin, a lot of great ducks. There's a lot of mixed with spoon. So they got good ducks. But I hunt with. That's what I use all the time.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, good. Well, guys, look, first split, we all sound like it was pretty solid for most of you guys. Really, really happy to see that. I thought, honestly, we had quite a bit of birds in the state of Louisiana, and there's a lot of people out there online. They saying, there's no birds, there's no birds, there's no birds. How many times we hearing that nowadays where people are talking about that? obviously we have birds. We all can attest to that on this episode that, we've all kind of talked about how the first split was. Would we like to see more birds? Yes, I think we all would like to see more birds, but we do have birds in Louisiana, and we have had an opportunity to be able to harvest birds in Louisiana. So that's a good thing. So I would say that the naysayers there, they're not 100% right, and we probably aren't either when we kind of have a rebuttal to what they think, But as we're getting ready to now head into the second split, we open it up this weekend. You mentioned a while ago, Roland, the solstice, Christmas, having cold weather before Christmas. What do you guys anticipate if you were a betting person right now? What are you guys anticipating heading into the second split? What can we expect?
So, Jacob, I was on the phone today. I had to go back to DB, and there was more ducks today than what there was before the opener of the first split. We had thousands of mallards, man, in the sanctuary. Greenheads everywhere underneath them trees. Now, granted, we may not shoot much of them, but they're there.
They're here.
Teal were like you hit a bumblebee in there. Gadwalls, widgeon, tons of pintails. So we picked up ducks in between this split. No matter what kind of weather we had, some ducks showed up. Arkansas opened up, maybe some ducks push out. So Dale, you may want to get ready. You may get a push of ducks pretty soon because we're not but an hour and 45 minutes north of you. So you may see a good influx of ducks out the north come Saturday morning.
My boy went out of there now. They went frogging. He said, man, he seen a lot of good bit of duck. I think it's
to me, it was the amount of mallards that we had on the farm. I mean, I've been hunting, that DB for 5 years now, and this is the most mallards I've seen this early on this farm. Now, granted, we have pristine habitat here. This is the best habitat, a person can make. So, we have the groceries for them for these ducks. But all of these mallard ducks are in the trees. They're not in the field. The pintails, the widgeon, the red ducks, the teal, mallard ducks are in them trees, and that's their house. That's where they live at. So, most of them stay in the sanctuary. But it was nice to see when you look underneath them short trees, the solid green heads, man. It was a beautiful sight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Green head.
Roland, just to touch on kind of what you said, I can tell you that first split, I was shocked by the amount of mallards that I saw where I was. It didn't translate, like you said, to necessarily killing more mallards, but there were mallards here. And Mr. Dale, I paid you a visit, right before the season started. We kind of had a conversation. We talked a little bit about what we had saw when we scouted. In different areas. And Joe, I had that conversation with you this week as well, kind of what I saw. And, I actually filmed the clip for a youth weekend in the dark. We were sitting on the X pretty much of where we needed to be at. And you couldn't obviously see anything because it was pitch black, but I recorded what was going on around me. And you could clearly hear mallards just feeding, quacking. It sounded like machine guns on the water. They were in there before shooting light. And what I witnessed is that when shooting light came around, those birds were exiting. They were exiting and they were going to another area where they were getting away from some pressure, is what it was, kind of like we talked about in the earlier episode. But yeah, I agree. I think that we probably, and you guys in the marshes, you probably not going to see it like, we will more up, in the middle portions and up in North Louisiana. But for people to say there's no mallards in Louisiana, they actually have had mallards this year show up early in Louisiana. Now, whether that's going to transpire into people killing more mallards, I don't know. But Roland, you gave a really good tidbit right there if people were listening. If you want to kill more mallards, you probably want to be in the timber. You don't want to be in the fields or, open areas, basically. Hey, a second.
Well, it could be any type of thermal cover. It could be coffee bean, any type of WRP, CRP, any type of cover, man. Them ducks don't want to be out in the open.
Yeah.
They got hawks. The boogie man's waiting for him in the woods, man. I mean, them ducks are trying to hide from everything. And, you know, they're at home. And another thing I want to tell, I don't know if a lot of y'all know this, but a lot of them mallards were pair chasing day one of the season.
Yeah.
You know, everybody talks about mallards pair chasing in January. No, man. We had pintails and mallard ducks chasing each other on day one of the season.
You know, I thought that with several species, we actually shot a couple of ducks that we got one out of the pair, and we killed on 3 different instances that I could recall. We talked about it where the hen or the drake circled back to the other one that we had shot and came back, and we were able to get the second duck. That happened on 3 occasions, first split. And I told my sons, I said, that seems like it's real early for that to be happening first split, you know? I don't know what's causing that or why it's like that, but yeah, you muted, Roland. But we've also witnessed that as well. So that's very interesting. There is some kind of unique things that's happening this season that's a little bit different. And a good friend of ours, Mr. Warren Coco, he told him, he always says this, he says, you know, the one thing that you can rely on with waterfowl hunting is nothing stays the same. He told me that, and he's said that several times, and that's very, very true. But for the rest of you guys, Joey, Joe, Nate, second split, what do you guys anticipate?
Teal.
Teal. Joey said teal.
Hard hunting.
Geese. Specklebelly. Specklebelly.
You know who to invite, Joe.
I know. Okay.
I'm coming
Everyone's
too.
gonna have an invite. Yes,
go.
yes. I'm just waiting for a worthy group to come. You know, of us. So where I hunt, we have fields that nobody hunts, which is a blessing and a curse. Early season for me, it was kind of a curse because we get a few birds, and then they would a couple of the. I've noticed this year. I know Roland, a lot of snows early in the season have come down in the rice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed that as well, Roland. A lot of, and then from where I'm at in Southwest Louisiana, hunting the ag fields, we call them duck sucks, where those snows. We get some pressure on those non-hunted fields or whatnot, and they start spreading out. But once I start getting, there'll be some invites. I'm gonna need some guns. But for like the rest of the season, I think for where I'm at in the Southwest, the marsh was going to stay the same. A lot of gabblehead, a lot of teal. For me, January I'll get a lot of pintail when Arkansas freezes, and then once Arkansas thaws, I lose all my birds and they go spread out to you guys, or they go back up north.
The birds ain't coming to me, Joe. I can tell you that. We definitely don't get geese here, but I will say this. Late season gadwall hunting, it is hard, but it is super rewarding, and that's what I plan on doing for the rest of this year if I can help it. Unless my canvasbacks show up. If my canvasbacks show up, I'll be hunting gadwall in the salt marsh for the remainder of the season.
You mentioned them gray ducks 3 times already. That must be one of your favorites, huh?
They are my favorite. I'll take a gray duck shooting the salt marsh over a greenhead shooting the trees any day.
Well, it's a pretty hunt.
Well, speaking of that, what's your favorite? We'll ask everybody because that's a question somebody had asked me. Ask what their favorite duck is. What's yours, Mr. Dale?
Mine always been that blue wing in that September and even through now, or green wings. I like it. We shot a bunch of mallards years ago. That's pretty hard. I'm a teal man. My daddy was a teal man. As far as eating and shooting, it's just I'm hot. Fucking kill that the rest of the year, man.
I'm with you, Joey. I'm gonna say you're a widgeon woman.
Nothing gets me fired up like a widgeon. I mean,
I seen you with that widgeon before.
But it's something about it, man. I don't know.
I'm with you. I'm a widgeon person too. You got a widgeon on your wall behind you, it looks like, huh?
No, I don't have one on the wall yet. That's a pintail.
Okay, I couldn't see it perfectly. I wasn't sure, but so wedging, and you expected teal. You said second split, more teal. You think it's going to kind of repeat from the first split?
I mean, the last weekend of the first split, we had a huge push of fresh teal. I mean, second split, we don't usually do that great, obviously, but still get some teal in them little potholes in the marsh. So that's what I'm
Yeah,
looking for.
got you. Well, good. Joe, what about you?
Man, I'm the oddball, and I think guys will make people make fun of me when I say what my favorite bird is. I love pintail. I love pintail. I grew up on pintail where I was hunting. I hunted rice country, Northern California. I never took for granted the amount of pintail I had over there. But since I've lived here for almost 9 years, going on 10 years, I really like the wood ducks. I like eating the wood ducks. I think they're the best table fare. They're fun to shoot in the mornings in the cypress sloughs. So I tell everyone if I can shoot speckle bellies and wood ducks for the rest of my life, I would be a happy man.
Awesome. Nothing wrong with a woody. Roland, what about you? What's your
So
favorite species?
I have I have three. One is a Zaza, the other one is a Canada flash, and the other one is a specklebelly. But the last 15 years, I much rather shoot a specklebelly. I'm
Specklebelly.
obsessed with the specklebelly goose. I love them orange feet sticking out of some dressing.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Wow. So, man, mine, I already said it's a widget pretty much. But I'll take teal all season long. I'm not mad at it. I can promise you. I'll take teal all season long. So, well, guys, look, anything that you guys want to mention right now that maybe we didn't talk about? I know we got a ton that we could talk about. We could do multiple episodes. I kind of focused on some questions that I got from the audience to kind of ask you guys. We talked a little bit about first split. Obviously, we know what we're expecting second split. Man, I really can't thank y'all enough for coming on tonight. You guys are, not only friends of mine, but just voices in the industry. Each one of you on your platforms that you have, the educational standpoint of waterfowl hunting here in Louisiana and across the flyways. To be honest with y'all, I'm honored to call you guys friends. I'm very thankful that you took time out of y'all schedule to come on with us tonight. I'd like to do this kind of more often if we can, maybe like at the end of the season, beginning of the season, kind of do this roundtable type stuff. Uh, but thank y'all so much for taking time and coming on tonight. And if you don't mind, let people know where they could find you. Maybe mention your platforms one more time and where they could find you.
Yeah, Jacob, can I mention something?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
There's a lot of, I mean, this discussion comes up a lot, and I know every area is different. We spray a lot of chemicals, and I know a lot of people spray. They put Carmex, iGround, and they clean it all out, and they kill it all. You know, and now you have a good aquatic ducks. So what I'm trying to say, the duck we kill, most gray duck we just kill. So them gray duck we is a 95% plant aquatic feeder. So when I'm spraying a hole, I just my energy is important. I want to kill nothing under the water, and it full coontail like carpet. But that's all gonna stink. And I hunted with a ball out. We killed like 19 ducks one morning, but it was full. The way he told me it was like it's going up over a bird time like a hard torture with duck the water. So suppose I important enough to kill all that your aquatic plant. Uh, we talked to about duck that they come and yep.
Yeah. All right. That's a good point, Mr. Dale. Thank you for sharing that. Well, guys, look, we taken up enough time tonight of y'all out of your schedule tonight, but where can people find you? Nate, why don't you lead it off? Who you with once again, and where can they find you at if they aren't familiar with you?
Falling Tide TV. Just search Falling Tide TV on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the Facebook, whatever, all the normal platforms. You can find me at Falling Tide TV.
Awesome. Joey?
Search Cajun Girl Outdoors, and that's what I am on everything.
Awesome. Roland?
Man, just type my name in. Roland Cortez. You'll find me on Facebook, Instagram, even on the YouTube, baby.
Even on the YouTube now. I feel like I'm calling roll now, like a teacher. Joe, where can they find you at?
They can find me on Joe Spears on Facebook and Instagram, or they can follow me on my podcast platform, Facebook and Instagram at Flyway Connections podcast.
Awesome. Awesome. And Mr. Dale, where can they find you?
Bayou Beast calls. I think everybody pretty much knows that. And fellas, I enjoyed doing this with y'all, Roland, Joey, Joe, Jacob. I enjoyed it. Good luck to all of y'all. Y'all have a good, safe second split, man.
Same to
You as
you.
well.
Same to you, Mr. Dale.
Same to you, guys.
I'll be looking for the picture.
Yeah, hopefully so, huh? Well, guys, thank y'all so much for the time tonight, and best of luck as we get ready to roll things out this weekend. I wish y'all the best. Y'all stay safe out there, and Merry Christmas to all of y'all and the families, guys.
Hey, send me
Same to
on.
y'all, guys.
Merry
Same to y'all.
Christmas.
Y'all have a good evening.
Good night.
You too.
Right there.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
All right.
Well, guys, there y'all have it. Another episode we had. I mean, how much knowledge can you get in one place from some of the most, just greatest minds of waterfowl hunting, not only in the state of Louisiana, but from across the flyways, guys, throughout the whole flyway system. These people that we had on tonight, Joey, Mr. Dale, Roland, Nate, Joe, are great people. They're great role models to follow on social media, to follow on their platforms. And if you're somebody who's new and you're looking at getting into waterfowl hunting, and you're looking for people to, try to go on and follow and get some information that is doing it the right way, that you can learn how to approach a hunt, then these are the people that you want to definitely take a look at. I'm so blessed to live in this great state of Louisiana and have all these people right here in my own backyard and call them my friends. But there's so many more like them as well that are out there that are doing things the right way, like I always like to say, and that have so much knowledge of waterfowl hunting, from the history standpoint of it to how we approach it in 2025 and the coming years, So very blessed to have them on the show with us, all in one location tonight, talking about waterfowl hunting. And from what it sounded like, it seems like the first split was really, kind of what I said in the previous episode, a really good start to the season. It gives us some momentum as we get ready to roll into the second split this weekend coming up. And I'm excited, and I know a lot of you are excited as well. So we have a lot to be excited about heading into the second split. As waterfowl hunters, we're some of the most optimistic people, and we're all like that, and we're like that for a reason, because it is an awesome sport. It's an awesome hobby, whatever you want to call it. It's something great to be a part of. It's an awesome community to be a part of when you surround yourself with good people, good influences, and these people are exactly that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you got to learn a little bit. Maybe you picked up on a couple of things that maybe you never thought of that might be able to help you as we get ready to roll into the second split of the season. I know I did. I made a couple of notes tonight as they were talking on some things, and hopefully they were able to answer some of the audience's questions tonight that was sent in to me that I had put out there. And I think they did a really good job of that. Just some of it may be common knowledge to some people, but, people inquired minds want to know. They kind of want to know, when they see these people having success, what's ticking for them, what's making that success, what's, be contributing to that success. And I think they were able to answer a lot of those questions tonight for you guys and give you some insight into how they approach it, here in Louisiana, their hunts, and what they're planning on and how they're going to approach it in the second half of the season. So Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're watching us on video, thank you so much. Share it with your friends. We would appreciate it. And if you're tuning in on audio format tonight, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule or on your truck drive home or wherever you're heading to listen to us. We sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate it, guys, and hope you enjoyed it. So until next time, my name is Jacob. This is Last Stop Waterfowl Outdoors Podcast. We'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a safe opening weekend. Be respectful of other hunters. Be safe out there and go kill some ducks, guys. Best time of the year. Let's make it fun as we get ready to open up this weekend. Y'all take care and let's see those pictures.